Hi and welcome to yet another episode of Voices of Vayana. Today we have with us Amit Parmar. Amit Parmar is a distinguished alumnus of IIM Bangalore with extensive experience in finance, sales, relationship management, and product and operations design. Since August 2015, Amit has been with Vayana, where he is responsible for product solutioning and operations, driving innovation and supply chain finance for SMEs. Thank you so much for joining us today, Amit. Welcome.
Thanks, Akshaya, for inviting me to this podcast.
So let's get started, Amit. Let's start with your journey. So, could you tell us a bit about your background and what drew you into the intersection of finance and technology?
So I had opted for engineering and computer science, during my undergrads, and was much inclined to pursue a career in technology. However, events in the early 2000s led me to pursue an MBA. At that point in time, mid 2000s, finance and telecom were two sectors in the limelight then, and I chose finance. That said, at various points of my journey, my understanding of technology and appreciation for process has generally helped me in managing customer relationships with a solution-oriented approach and to also pull various supporting teams in the organization towards, fulfillment and client delivery. So at Vayana, I find the creativity and agility to make a larger impact basis my know-how straddling across both finance and technology.
Got it. So, Amit, what really motivated you to join Vayana and how has your vision for the future of financial services evolved since?
So I spent nearly a decade with a large multinational bank in corporate banking and trade finance. And after that, I wanted to shift gears and I was toying with certain business ideas in the area of trade finance. At that juncture, some chance consultations with Ram led me to the decision of joining Vayana, at an early stage. And rather than pursuing my own independent journey, the thought in my mind at that time was to help nurture the baby that he and other founding members of Vayana had given birth to. Since then, I have been glad to have played part in virtually every new initiative at Vayana, be it supply chain finance, commercial card, GST, cash flow underwriting based trade finance, deep tier finance, and even pursuing some of the new market opportunities outside India. Now, having worked at a bank, I realize that it brings a shackled view on the approach on how we look at the market and how we offer financial services. And I think that has changed for me after joining Vayana, taking a relatively unconstrained approach in solution design in the business. And that I would say has expanded my perspective on B2B trade finance as well. Furthermore, as we stepped into some of these plays beyond trade finance, such as GST, what we have also seen is power of APIs and how these can help businesses manage their processes better. And that's the new initiative that we are launching ourselves into by way of an API marketplace.
Got it. So, Amit, can you just explain to us and our listeners what an API marketplace really is?
So in the software world, over the last 3 decades, there was something called as a client-server model that evolved, wherein initial approach of offering services were web browser-based. Now, over the last decade, we have seen a growing demand for leveraging these third-party technology to achieve automation in the native software application that we as customers use. So this is where APIs play a critical role of delivering services in an embedded manner to any client application user. To a layman, essentially an API is a layer or an interface that runs the communication between a client application and the server application to relay the request, for a service to be completed by the server application. So, for example, let's say that I want to book a travel ticket or I want to buy an insurance policy through an aggregator app. Now, instead of going to each carrier or maybe each insurer's portal, I would want to see the quotes and make my decisions on that aggregator app. So this is where APIs, help fulfill my request without visiting the web portal of multiple carriers or insurers. So in the same way, just like we prefer aggregator apps, an API marketplace offers an aggregation of several API services for software application builders. It serves as a single platform application builders, delivering a unified approach to integration, support, and commercial.
Got it. So, Amit, from your perspective, what do you think are the core challenges that an API marketplace aims to address?
So, software application providers are embracing APIs over the last few years to deliver on the industry expectation of automation across processes. But I still see that a lot of them struggle on various fronts. And the challenges I see as follows. One is that product managers spend significant amount of time in finding the right API service providers who can meet their complete requirement. they often end up with a compromised, broken user journey in their softwares or investing in higher costs to bring together services from multiple service providers. The other issue these application builders face is that when integrating to multiple service providers, it also brings the complexity of managing different integrations, longer product development cycles, increased complexity on software maintenance, and of course, issue resolution. And thirdly, when you're working with multiple service providers, the application provider who is serving the end customer has no control on the performance of their software for end users.
Got it. So, Amit, something you said really stuck out. So, I have a question related to that. So, I wanted to ask what role do you see API marketplaces playing in the broader digital transformation bit of this industry, especially in terms of customer experience and operational efficiency?
So, as I said, technology adoption has increased expectations on businesses to improve their efficiency across all their processes. So, API Marketplace offers all such businesses the ability to digitize their sales and purchase related processes on an end-to-end basis and get more out of their business software without leaving core software they are using.
Understood. So, in your view, what are the key success factors for an API marketplace to gain traction and to deliver long term value to their users and partners?
So I think there are three key factors for API marketplaces to gain traction and deliver value to industry and application builders. One, comprehensiveness, which means covering a broad range of common services. API marketplaces must serve as a one-stop shop to the application builders and eventually to their end customers, because this reduces the efforts that product managers invest in evaluating multiple API service providers. The second success factor is simplicity. The single umbrella approach that an API marketplace can offer, it helps developers in fast tracking integrations for development of various software features with a common integration approach across multiple API services they would need. And this further helps in simplifying the support for issue resolution because it's all getting streamlined with a unified app. The third success factor I feel is performance. As consumption of API services keeps scaling up, application developers expect highly performant API service providers to minimize their effort in issue resolution while also expecting low costs for the service consumption and maintenance. So a lot of mature API service providers, of course, focus on these metrics like high availability, concurrency or stability, responsiveness, error rates, etc. And this is something that we here at Vayana also closely focus on. We have delivered on these metrics in the context of our GSP services because these are closely evaluated by application builders, and that's what we are going to continue focusing through our new initiative, of this API marketplace.
Got it. Now, as you rightly mentioned in the end, we would like to get this closer to business and speak about Atlas. So just to start off, I'll ask you questions so we can break down the product. So I'll start with the first one, which is what really inspired the creation of Atlas? And can you give us an overview of what its objectives are in the market?
Yeah. So before I give an overview of Atlas, let me give you a peek into the Vayana journey and how that has led us to taking this Atlas initiative to the market. As some of you may know, Vayana started its journey as a fintech platform to offer short-term trade financing to SMEs in enterprise supply chains. Now, as we continue to expand the canvas of trade finance along with banks, we saw that majority of the fintech ecosystem is focused on delivering credit to a small section of SMEs that meet the credit norms of lenders, rather than making the industry pie larger, that is, making the larger industry credit ready. Now, when we speak of credit readiness of businesses, that can only get built by formalization and using technology to run businesses or business processes better. Accordingly, beyond being India's largest trade finance platform, Vayana stepped into GST ecosystem to enable compliance automation as a leading GST Suvidha provider, as well as cash flow automation on payments and collections in our capacity as a RBI licensed payment aggregator or payment gateway. However, a lot of businesses, even today, see a manual activity in their processes. Despite having a business software, which could be, let's say, an accounting system, ERP, dealer management system, maybe a CRM, maybe a vendor portal. Yeah. And the key activities beyond the core functions in these applications, such as compliances, collections, counterparty risk tracking, they are not handled in these applications because these applications have not been built for serving such requirements. So that leaves business users with a broken and inefficient process to manage. And while there have been a number of API service providers in the market, most are offering siloed services focused on compliance or payments or KYC. The worst part is that majority of these API service providers are still serving large enterprises or financial institutions for commercial reasons with the small application builders and business users not being approached. So this has led us to the idea of Atlas, Vayana's API marketplace for application builders to automate B2B compliance, cash flow, and business insights for their SME customers by embedding our services in their application.
Got it. So, how do you envision the Atlas API marketplace transforming the current landscape of these sectors?
So API-led automation will help businesses tackle a wide range of use cases, right? Business can better manage their counterparty background checks. This can in turn lead to better decisioning around how they are extending credit or whom they are buying from, how much should they really trade with a counterparty, as well as automating, compliance related activities, which are pretty much repetitive in nature, or even cash flow related, collection related activities. Yeah. So that it frees up businesses from mundane tasks and they can focus on growing, businesses and attend to larger priorities.
Understood. So, ensuring data security and privacy is obviously something that's really crucial in today's day and age. So, how does Atlas approach these aspects within its API marketplace framework?
So, as an organization, Vayana has operated across a range of financing, GST compliance, and payments applications for lakhs of businesses. So, we understand the criticality of data security and privacy very well. From our inception, Vayana has been a PCI DSS and ISO 27001 certified organization. So, all these InfoSec standards, that we have been adhering to across the range of businesses and applications that we bring to the market, equally apply to the API marketplace framework, and thereby the data security and privacy expectations or norms that the market has are already built in this API marketplace framework.
Got it. And Amit, are there any notable use cases where Atlas API has already made significant impact, especially in terms of, maybe improving operational efficiency or just compliance in general?
Yeah, as leading GSP, Vayana, of course, has been extending its compliance APIs to a very large footprint within the industry, where we contribute to almost about 18% of India's e-invoicing volumes. And there are a range of use cases today that we serve on compliance management. This includes e-invoicing and e-bill related operations. But even beyond that, more complex activities such as reconciliation of your purchases against your GSTR returns so that you can claim input tax credits correctly are all available, and making these services available as embedded within the business software is, I think, something that is very differentiated.
Thanks, Amit. So now we're done with all the serious questions. So we just want to kind of end on a lighter note. So this is a B2B rapid fire with you. You just have to answer, really fast and maybe just in one sentence or just words. That's good enough. So I'll just quickly get started. The first question is rank these in order of importance for a successful B2B business: technology, customer relationships, compliance, and innovation.
Well, I consider technology over everything else, but beyond technology, customer relationships, innovation, and compliance in that order would be my ranking, for successful B2B business.
Got it. One word to describe the current state of supply chain finance in India.
Underpenetration.
Okay. Most significant trend in fintech for 2024.
Fraud prevention.
Okay. Biggest challenge in supply chain finance today.
I think, relating back to the earlier point, fraud risk is arising from limited visibility to verify trade. So yeah, that's the biggest challenge in supply chain finance today.
Okay. An industry outside of finance that you find fascinating?
Biotechnology.
Okay, very interesting. One innovation you wish to see in the B2B space in the next 5 years?
Embedded finance.
And the last question, 3 things every player in supply chain finance must get right.
So regulatory compliance, risk management, and financing access. I think these are 3 things that no fintech or no supply chain fintech can overlook. These are the must to get it right.
Got it. With this, we come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Amit, for being with us today. We hope you enjoyed it as well.